Hey, welcome back, everyone, to Through a Glass Darkly. This is not Through a Glass Darkly Radio. It is just my monthly live stream to connect with my closest friends and subscribers, etc. It's much smaller, it's unscripted, and I literally don't come with any preconceived plans. So, welcome. Um, but I do have a lot more of my ridiculous, uh, you know, people. So anyway, oh, that was not good. I don't know why it deleted that, but anyway, it's good to see everybody. Feel free to say something in the comments. Looks like Roger was the lone watchman at the very beginning, and Timepiece Adventures. Good to see you. I don't think I've seen you at least make comments recently on the now they're Saturday night live streams, but that those shows are doing pretty well, at least across a bunch of other platforms that I don't get any money from. But we're talking like greater than over 600,000 every Saturday night. So that's what I've been trending so far. But we shall see. If only YouTube allowed the channel to grow a little bit more. If only. But it's too busy unsubscribing people. Oh, yeah, that's the most important thing. So if you subscribe to the channel, thank you very much. If you think you're subscribed to the channel, please go double check and subscribe if you're not subscribed, but you thought you were subscribed. Chances are it's not you. It's just YouTube randomly unsubscribing people. I don't know why, if it's a glitch in the system or if it's malicious. I don't know, but it does happen. So very nice, very nice. Timepiece Adventures, who writes, I will carve out the time, Sean. Hope all is well. All right. So, again, I don't have a lot of stuff to talk about, except maybe we can talk a little bit about, just channel news, typically. Channel news is that the channel's growth is rapidly decelerating. That's what the data tells me. Uh, which is very frustrating. A lot of it's tied to impressions, which is just I can't really control that. That's a YouTube thing, and YouTube is just systematically starving impressions for lots of people. For I don't know why. I don't know what the reason is, or if it's just AI algorithms that are not very good. I don't know, but that is what it is. I have a lot of upcoming episodes, so maybe I can just kind of show you all to give you a sense. It's the best way. Okay. And I'm just going to try to share. They changed all the icons, so now I'm pretty confused. Okay, present. Oh, here we go. All right. So let's just figure out how I'm going to go through this. Bear with me. And we'll just start from the bottom. Let's see what this looks like. Ooh, that's not great. I don't know why it's doing that. All right, let me just figure this out. I am very slow today. Okay. I don't like how it's doing this. Come on. Okay. So, all right, we're doing better now. All right. So, sorry, I'm just trying to like line it up so that people can actually see it well. All right. So, what I have is the first, at least coming on Monday, is this little ditty, Mind Monsters. It's the third in the series between Sean and Christopher O'Leary. That's another good show. Then we have the much anticipated Nathaniel Gillis episode of Demonic AI Avatars. That will be on the 13th. Is that when I have it? Yep. And then we go back to Lynn Buchanan, where we revisit his predictions about the three-quarter of population collapse. So this is the third video in that series. A very popular series for whatever crazy reason. I guess people are just masochists. Then we go over a second episode with Lynn on remote viewing high strangeness. You can see Mars behind him with this strange worm-like being. So we'll go into that a little bit. Then I have 2 episodes with the great Peter Levenda. First on Secret Machines. And then the next on Enochian Secrets. So we talk about the Zohar and Enochian magic. So that's some good stuff. All right, following that, we go into Frater Eleftheria, who is the purveyor of lifting the lamp. He's the guy that Matt Brown cited about Aburamon. So we talked to him about his early days of summoning demons. And then we round it out with this episode on summoning angels. After that, the great Jon Stewart, the illustrious one, joins us on a crash retrieval where there was an alleged firefight between elements of JSOC and presumably Lockheed Martin or some other defense contractor in about 10 miles south of Luning, Nevada. I can't remember exactly what the year was, but maybe 2006, something like that. And then we go back to Jon Stewart about the coming invasion with his DARPA contact. There are 5 more episodes that are not here that I'm currently working very hard to process. So let's see. Okay. So I have 2 episodes with John Brandenburg. The first is on time is imaginary. He talks about concepts of time and things that he's doing to prove what it is. The second one, which I think occurs first, talks about 3I Atlas, which is the interstellar object that's heading toward Earth that Avi Loeb identified as a potential threat. So Dr. John Brandenburg talks about that. And then I have 3 interviews with an abductee. His name is, why am I blanking on this? Justin Bush. It's a great, if you like the O'Leary brothers and you like the Eric Nansteel cases, it's very consistent with some of the very, very similar details. So definitely good stuff. If you're wondering why I'm trying to get all these interviews, or episodes out and scheduled, it's because I have a number of other things that I want to do that are related to the channel, or that are, maybe one is kind of tangential, but there's just a lot of other projects that I have to get to. And because I have a full-time job, I have to, between the job and all that stuff, I have to work 12 to 15 hours, 7 days a week. So I'm just trying to get these episodes set so that I don't have to have like a panic where I'm rushing to find people to interview at the very last minute. My goal is to have kind of 2 months of episodes done. Right now I'm getting closer to that. Uh, you know, I'm probably, maybe by the end of this week, I'll maybe be 15 months out, maybe, or maybe, yeah, something like that. Or not 50, 15 weeks out, or not, sorry, 15 episodes, which is about 7.5 weeks, something like that. So I'm getting close. But in terms of the other projects, I have like 3 anthologies that I just want to put together. So I just upload them to Amazon and just get those off my chest. I have 2 novels that I want to format, generate covers. I know how to do all this stuff myself, apparently, using AI. So rather than like wait forever to get a publishing contract and all that stuff, I'm just going to self-publish them. Those are, various science fiction, horror, that sort of good stuff. So those are some of the projects. I was going to start another YouTube channel that just that used AI to animate some of my fiction. Because why not? It's my IP. I might as well do something with it. And I don't want this channel to suffer because I'm doing that. But let's face it, like, this channel is just not growing fast enough. And I'm like pouring every ounce of energy into it. So I think I have, by year 5, I need to be at 100,000 subscribers, and I'm nowhere near that. So, and it's like, I'm getting, I was growing at kind of in December, maybe 500, 600 a month. And now it's like dropped down to adding like 250 a month, something like that. So it's not hopeless. Like, there's hope springs eternal, but it's the amount of energy and effort I'm pouring into this does not justify the return on investment. So again, we'll see. I mean, I have about a year and a half left to come up with 100,000. Now, what can you do to help keep the channel alive? Besides subscribing and liking and sharing and all that stuff, Solite US expat, or I don't see his name, so I don't know if I ever get it. But what he does is he shares this episode on what's it called? Something news. Before it news, and that generates a ton of views. So, if you're so inclined and you like a particular episode, please feel free to post it on Reddit forums, UFO places that are similar to whatever the episode is. Who knows, right? But it could help. YouTube is definitely not helping. So anyway, I could use all the help I can get, because this has been brutal for me in terms of the level of effort I'm putting into this. So anyway, let's just go through the comments. I'm not whining. I'm just telling you, like, I have all these projects, and there's another YouTube channel that's not at all related to this topic. That's more related to running a YouTube business and all that stuff, at least the financial side of it. But it has virtually no overlap other than me running the business of this channel. So let's see what folks have to say. So sent you an X message. Which episode did the abductee hear kids laughing and he was completely lucid on transport when the others were in a trance? I don't recall that. Oh, maybe his daughter laughing? No, but that's a transport. It could also be the Lynn Buchanan episode where there were people like laughing hysterically in the background and he was completely lucid. That would be episode 104, 105, sorry, maybe 106? Episode 106 or 107. But the cover is they offered me a job and it has an ET on it. That's what the thing looks like. Yeah, I'm going to do another interview with him on Friday. And then, but it's not going to come out until October because that's once I finish these 5 episodes that I'm editing, episodes will start getting pushed to October. Yeah, they're good episodes. So yeah, it's good stuff. Okay, so Roger Claiborne is writing, alien silicone head masks are very realistic nowadays, especially if your MK handlers drug you first. Last interview comments on some of the comments of his alien abductors made me look at masks. Okay, the fact you do this show with a full-time job means you're a badass, Sean. Yeah, it's hard. It's super, super difficult. I'm exhausted. Like I don't get any time off at all. I mean, I love doing it. I like building things. It's just when you're building something, but it's not, it's just growing very slowly. It gets really, really frustrating. Yeah, thank you, Michael Kenny. Michael Kenny writes, killer lineup. Okay, Ken James writes, operatives have mastered the MyLab alien. Okay, so Roger Claiborne dressing as an alien is perfect cover for interrogating a possible witness to see if he knows anything. Michael Kenny, people sleeping on this show. I guess you don't get into enough online beefs to get attention, not playing the game. Yeah, I don't. I mean, this is the place. This is probably the smartest paranormal and kind of UFO podcast there is. It just is. I think the audience probably has the highest IQs. Jesse Michaels is more of a broader audience, but he also kind of, I think, has intelligent commentary. I think maybe the Good Trouble show is good for politicos, like at the political side of all this stuff. But I think the moment you start discussing the political side of this stuff, it's just a waste of time because it's not. I don't have any confidence that the government will disclose any of this. All right, so next comment. I wonder if you toured big cities and did live shows with guests. That would help you grow faster. Like if you interviewed Dan Aykroyd in front of a bunch of college kids. That's not a bad idea, college kids. Yeah, the question is how do you get on campus and how do you, what are the checks and all that stuff? Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those 3 episodes, but you'll see it's like a blue thumbnail and it says They offered me a job. Hey, how you doing, Spiritual Ascension? Good to see you. As I was telling other people, if you just joined, this is like smaller scale, no topic. Just think of it as kind of like a nice little fireside chat. And I'm trying to be positive, but I'm tired. I'm like really tired. And then I do a bunch of other things. Like I work for a local university. I do like a contract work for them. That's pretty like well scheduled, so I know what to expect, but it's just something that I just add to my business. Spiritual Ascension writes, love a good meet and greet. Yeah, and this is not the full like 2 hour extravaganza. It's like 1 hour in and out just to maintain contact with my best friends and fans. Any idea on what causes the Conan complete silence abductees report? Could be a number of things, right? It could be that there's some differential, some temporal differential in space-time where time slows down around it. It could also be that they emit a certain frequency that causes animals to stop moving, or maybe there's a field effect that keeps animals away, you know, or again, maybe it's just outside of space time. No idea how to test any of those, but hey, Spider Bite, good to see you. And who writes, hello, hope you are all well. The Spiritual Ascension writes, we enjoy your presence, so we'll take it. I appreciate that. So anyway, it's great to see everybody. But anyway, those are some of the projects that I had ongoing. So we talked about upcoming episodes, so I don't need to flash that anymore. And then, we could talk Q&A, but yeah, we just go through questions, etc. Oh, yes, they did. Yes, let me see. Let's see. I didn't see any, mind you, but yeah, the morning of August 3rd and the morning of August 4th. I think there was, yeah, both mornings there was a male and female outside hooting in the wee hours of the morning, maybe around 5:30. But Roger Claiborne is writing, I might try to set up to start a hobby YouTube channel that goes viral. Awesome. If not, at least I'll show and do things I like to think and talk about. I'm a horrible speaker and not photogenic. Well, I'm a horrible speaker and I'm not photogenic either. So you'll be fine. You can't be uglier than me. But I wouldn't advise starting it as a hobby. I would actually try to, otherwise it can get really frustrating really fast, especially at the beginning, because you don't really know what you're doing and you don't really get much traction. So what I would recommend, if you're going to do that, like create a batch of like 10 videos. And when you start your channel, have like 3 or 4 be available. So premiere like 3 or 4 on the first day, and then schedule those other 6 or 7 to come out on a periodic basis, right? So maybe once a week, once every other 2 days or whatever. That way you won't get immediately discouraged when your first video gets 5 views, right? Because that's what it's kind of like when you first do it. Now there's some people who go viral on the first try, which intensely irritates me. But you also don't want to go viral on the first try, because when you go viral, you want to have like a whole library of videos that get compounded by that virality of the one video, and you won't really be able to take advantage of that if your first video goes viral. So, Spider Bite writes, "I heard the great horned owl symbolizes strength and protection." I hope so. Yeah, I still am. I still am. I mean, most of the nights I just light incense. I don't necessarily always like pray to God or whatever. Like I'll say very briefly in my head, but yeah. And then like nothing happened last night except I had a weird dream about like Bill Clinton. I was like palling around with Bill Clinton, and we were talking about like a president who was a good guy, and we started talking about President Carter. You tell me if that means does that mean Bill Clinton's the next one to die? Because Carter was the last president to die? That would be my interpretation, but I don't know. Like, why would I have that dream? It's just a weird, weird dream. But that dream was on the evening of, or the morning of, evening of August 5th, or the morning of August 6th today. So, yeah, yeah. It's just it's a tough racket. I'll tell you that. Tack track. I like your icon. The little Adidas thing. That's pretty nice. So anyway, you all can interpret that. Then like several nights before that, I had a dream where some woman with like curly black hair and glasses was taking me to the Stanford dining hall and like smuggling me in. And then when we got out of the dining hall, we were on this like desert island in Australia. And there was like this mountain in the distance where there was some top secret base. And she was like, "Yep, that's the top secret base." I'm like, "Oh, let's walk over there." I'm like, it seems like it's a lot farther than, and we don't have any water." She's like, "Yeah, it's 10 miles from here." And then like one of those white Australian birds, like I forget, like a little cockatoo or something like that, showed up. If anybody could tell me what that, and then dream over. If anybody could tell me what that dream signified, knock yourself out. Those are the kind of dreams I have. They make any sense. So I just write them down and then move on. So, hey, Johnny Topside, good to see you, man. Spiritual Ascension is laughing her ass off. They're all weird. They're all weird, Johnny Topside. Had to have been a Luru. What's a Luru? Is that like the god of the Aborigines or something? So Spiderbite is writing, I wonder what his Chinese animal is. That's a good way to tell when your last day on Earth is. I don't know. Yes. A little white bird like a cockatoo. I think they call them like little cockatoos or something like that in Australia. And they have another name because I looked it up and it was like, I'm like, yep, that's the bird. A big red mountain rock, indigenous, but it wasn't like red necessarily. It was just this big mountain. Yeah, and it wasn't Ayers Rock. Yeah, it wasn't a red one. Yeah, I mean, I haven't had time to pump it into Chat GPT for dream interpretation, but yeah, let me just see what it was. So, Australian white bird. All right, it's not the white ibis, which is the first of white ibis. That's the first thing it showed me. Okay, it's the little Corella. Yeah, they are relatively small cockatoos, and unlike the members of the subgenus Cockatua, all have pale bills. Yeah, with that like tuft of hair they had. That's what I recall the most. So I don't know what that means, but somehow I knew it was in Australia. One second I'm in California, next second I'm in. Yeah, it was not Air. It's definitely not Ayers Rock. It was on an island, though. It was on an island where the mountain would have been 10 miles inland. Interesting. So, spiritual ascension writes they often represent wisdom, protection, and guidance and can appear as warnings or helpful figures in times of difficulty. Okay, so Johnny Topside writes, I had a dream of a peacock the other night and it was strange. Spiritual Ascension's writing, you were portal hopping, wouldn't be surprised if you were in New Zealand. Who knows? Yeah, but there's only one. There was only one. I kind of like flew, and then landed on like a twig and just kind of sat there. At least that's what happened in the dream. So I don't know. Sometimes dreams are dreams. Let me fire it into Chat GPT and see what it tells me. Um, let's see. All right, so I'm just going to say it right. Can you interpret a dream where I met a okay? Just give me a second, folks. Okay, Danny Hall. Okay, so when I started walking toward it, I realized it was too far away and we had no water. She told me it was 10 miles away. At that moment, a white Australian bird that looked like a cockatoo flew across my vision and landed on a branch right in front of me. All right, let's see what happens. Ah. All right, I'm just reading this. Yeah, I don't. I'm reading it, and it's just kind of like. Of course, it ends with, "Would you like me to construct a visual sigil or dream map based on the journey for future meditations or dream incubation?" Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how helpful that was. Let me see. Wow. Okay. Yes, brain does weird things while resting. Johnny Topside writes. Corellas aren't small birds. I guess I don't know. I can't tell from the pictures. All right. So dreaming. So spiritual ascension writes. Dreaming of corellas, a type of Australian cockatoo, can symbolize a range of things depending on the specific context of the dream. Generally, corellas are associated with adaptability, resilience, and community. Their presence in a dream might highlight your own ability to adjust to changing circumstances, or perhaps suggest the importance of social connections in your life. The specific emotions and details of the dream are crucial for a more personalized interpretation. It might have been a white budgerigar. It definitely wasn't a dove. But let me see what a white budge. I can't even pronounce that. No, it wasn't a budge. It wasn't a budgerigar or whatever. It had like a white tuft on the front. I mean, it could have been that it just was farther out than I judged. All right, if it didn't have a yellow mohawk, it wasn't a cockatoo. Corellias generally have blue skin rings around their eyes. It didn't have a yellow mohawk, but um, Corey Fro's writing, "Get the sigil." All right, the ones with the yellow crests are sulfur crested cockatoos. Corellas are also cockatoos. Yeah, it didn't have a yellow crest. It was just all white. Maybe maybe it was a hat. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it was a hat, or maybe it just was a mohawk. Maybe that was the style. Huh. Let me share this. Um, this is about what it looked like. Kind of like that. Yeah, it was this one. So let's remove that. So that's for. Don't know why I would dream about a bird I didn't know anything about. I just looked up for white Australian birds, and that's kind of how I kind of figured it out. Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't precisely like that, but it's close enough. It had that tuft, and then it was all white. So, but I don't know if Australia has any island bases. Let's see. That'll be a good question. I mean, I doubt it's a literal thing, but you never know. Let's see. So, chat. Okay. Let's see. All right, it's not Pine Gap because it's not an island. Okay, it's giving me all this stuff that's not an island. So there's Christmas Island. That's in Australian Indian Ocean territory. It's technically a desert island, though it's a small civilian population. Yeah, there's a few, but yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if that's the answer or not. Yes, I definitely go to sleep sober. Yeah, I don't drink, um, or rarely drink. Okay, so sulfur crested cockatoos have a white feather in front of the yellow ones. Okay, so it wasn't New Zealand. You island hopped. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. So there's a mountain on whatever this island is. But I don't know. Sometimes a dream's just a dream. It was just wow, that's a weird thing to dream about. Why? Spiderbite writes it may have been Indonesia. That's where umbrella cockatoos are. I think they have a pink crest. I don't. I wouldn't know. This thing was all white. That's all I know. And it had that tuft in the front. So, but it seemed small. It could have been just a distance away, or it could have been like right in front of me. But I don't know. Okay, so spiritual ascension writes random and cool dream. I think it may have something to do with your ability to be adaptable, as I mentioned above. Yeah, no orange. It's all white. All white. Not a hint of any other color. Maybe save the eyes, which were like black. So, but that's about it. Anyway, I don't know how I got into like these random dreams. I guess you were just asking about this ceremony ritual stuff. But literally, I just sit down in my backyard and I burn frankincense at dusk, and that's about it. And then I just record if anything happens. So, which I still need to record what happened last night today. Yeah, so they tell me. Spiritual Ascension saying you have a strong avian lineage. I wish I just knew it. As a Spiritual Ascension said, they have messages for you. I just wish I knew how to interpret them. So Spider Bite's writing it's your affiliation with the bird spirit, I'd say. So Spiritual Ascension said they're saying the avians lived in Lyra too. Yeah, who knows? I do not know. Nope, sorry. Anyway, what do folks? Oh, here we go. There's another one. Oops. Yeah, it did, but it doesn't. Actually, I'll just share it. Didn't make much sense. I'll get it. So Saint Francis of Assisi, 1181 to 1226, patron saint of animals and ecology, famously preached to birds, and they reportedly listened attentively, often depicted with birds perched on or around him. So spiritual ascensions refer just quiet your mind and enforce your intent on what you want to get out of it. Intent is key, my friend. All right, well, let me see if ChatGPT. All right. Oops. It's the wrong one. What I'm going to do is I'll share it, but I just have to configure it so that it's easy to read. Okay. All right, there it is. Okay, it just says you were led by an inner feminine force to a place of secret nourishment and then transported beyond the ordinary world to a mythic zone in the psychic landscape. The mountain base is your higher goal, hidden truth, contact, transcendence, but you're not yet prepared to reach it, lacking psychic, water, emotional fuel, or spiritual power. The appearance of the cockatoo marks the moment of awareness and reorientation. It may be telling you to pause, to seek spiritual replenishment, or that help is coming from unexpected sources. So, actually, I think this is the final summary. So, possible call to action: listen more to feminine intuition within you, symbolized by the woman. Seek replenishment before pushing ahead. Perhaps you're spiritually, emotionally, or psychically drained. That's for sure. Watch for synchronicities like the cockatoo. They guide you to better than planning. Consider that your goal, the mountain base, may not be meant to be reached through brute will, but through grace, guidance, or altered states. Okay, so it went all the way to the bottom. That's great. All right. All right. So here's the surface narrative. So this is symbolic interpretation of the dream using Jungian and esoteric lenses, woven with personal archetypal resonance. So surface narrative overview, setting shifts, Stanford to desert island in Australia, guide women with curly black hair and glasses, gift, secret entrance to free food, obstacle, 10-mile trek to secret base without water, messenger, white cockatoo appearing at a moment of realization. In the symbolic breakdown, the girl with curly hair and glasses, anima or oracle. This figure likely represents your anima. The Jungian inner feminine as or psychic guide. The curly hair, unrestrained thought, and glasses, clarity or insight. Suggests intellectual depth and intuitive perception. She grants you access to hidden sustenance, spiritual or psychic nourishment not available to everybody. Okay. Stanford dining hall, memory, status, and sustenance. Stanford likely represents prestige and structured rationality, your academic past. The material, mental plane, structured, familiar, secure. The dining hall equals mental or spiritual nourishment gained through elite or exclusive means, but accessed in an unorthodox way, secret entrances. You're being shown there's a hidden route to fulfillment, perhaps bypassing traditional structures. Island in Australia, isolation and initiation. A desert island is a classic symbol of spiritual isolation, shamanic trial, loss of contact with the mundane world. Australia is often associated in dreams with the edge of the known world, primordial forces, and the dream time, the Aboriginal myth reality that parallels walking life. Okay, so you've moved from the academic intellectual plane, Stanford, into a mystical liminal zone far from societal order, closer to mythic truth. Secret base on a mountain, spiritual or esoteric goal. The mountain is universally a symbol of divine ascent, initiation, hidden truth. The top secret base adds a layer of modern myth, a concealed source of power, possibly extraterrestrial or transdimensional. It's where true elevation or initiation occurs, but it's remote and requires sacrifice. This is your grail, hidden sacred knowledge, possibly connected to your pursuit of the paranormal, intelligence, secrecy, or spiritual truth. No water, 10 miles represents trial, limitation, and realization. Water equals emotion, spirit, psychic fuel. The lack of it means you're being spiritually tested. 10 miles equals journey of completion. 1 equals initiation. 0 equals void. Realization, you can't reach the base in your current state. Initiation has begun, but preparation is incomplete. White cockatoo, spirit, messenger, spirit guide. The cockatoo is uniquely Australian, white, purity, spirit, and highly intelligent. As a dream symbol, it may represent a guide spirit, a synchronicity marker, or break in the matrix, a signal of divine presence or insight. It appears just as you realize the limits of the journey, perhaps signaling an alternative path or offering encouragement. In Aboriginal lore, birds often act as dreamtime messengers. So that's why I was kind of like, I don't know what to make of this. All right, let's see. Okay. Yeah, Johnny Topside writes the birds could be vessels of divine will. So, genuine curiosity. Is it possible that you are experiencing bird interactions out of a desire to reach a larger audience, meaning you're literally summoning them by accident? I don't know. I don't know. Spiritual ascension. Oh, I don't mind that interpretation. Okay, so Johnny Topside writes animals react to will almost like instinct. Okay, so spiritual ascension's writing. So what I am getting from GPT's interpretation is you're being called. You need to go deep with your spirituality, no distractions, isolate and evolve spiritually. Yeah, unfortunately, my life is inundated with distractions. Okay, spiritual ascension writes you're being called to service. Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm working, 12 to 15-hour days, 7 days a week. Okay, so Woo Riders DG going to contact you by tomorrow, Sean. Hope everything is going good with you and your family. So Woo Rider DG, your ears must be ringing because I was actually just talking to Nathaniel Gillis and we were talking about Richard Grieco. And we're like, yeah, this guy who watches the show, it's his cousin, and we're trying to get him on. So does that your message there, does that have anything to do with that? Because that would be really a really weird synchronicity. Like I was literally talking to him 30 minutes before the show. 30, like between 15 and 30 minutes before the show started. Spider by his writing, are you being impatient with your nighttime ritual? The guide is, I'm definitely being impatient, but I still wait until the thing burns all the way down. The guide is telling you that your path is in front of you, but you must hone in on it and not veer. Trust in the process. It's working. They're letting you know they are supporting you. That's weird. That's weird. I mean, literally 50, I mean, not ago, but we were literally talking about that. Okay, so to go inwards is very different to serving the populace with information. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Anyway, I don't know why I'm sharing these bizarre dreams with everybody, but you know, I didn't have any content coming on here, so use what you get. Right? You write what you know. You present on what you know, or what you don't know. Right? I know I had that dream, but I have no idea what it mean, or maybe I have a better idea. Who knows? What were you saying was weird? Just the dream. It's a weird dream. All right, so Michael Kenny is saying, anytime I'm in a crowd, I've been trying to put out telepathic beacons to NHI and or telepaths. No luck so far. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you just go back and watch the episode. But yeah, I just talked about two dreams. So spiritual ascension is saying you're being called for inner work, and with that comes a stronger point to share that journey publicly. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, what do you think of all the volcanoes lately? Most recently, a big upswing since Russian quake. Because I think the tectonic plates are going. It's the ring of fire. They're all connected in some way. I mean, I'm sure a geologist would say the same thing, but I'm not a geologist, so you should listen to a geologist and not to me on this stuff. So anyway, we got 2 minutes left because I have a mountain of work that I have to get to and get through. So, any final things? So, Spider Bite writes, immediately I picked up on your impatience with the ritual. I think that's what it's about. Patience is a virtue, so slow and steady. Yeah, it takes like 45 minutes out of my day. And my day is like every second I'm not producing or productive is a second of sleep I lose. So that's why it's hard to. I've been doing it every night though. So, but there have been like a few times where I would light it and then let it burn and then put it in like a container and let it burn so I didn't have to sit there and watch it. And and after like when the nights that I did that, like really dangerous things, or shouldn't say dangerous, but really inconvenient things happened. One morning I woke up with my stove on. Like it was like very low, but it was you know another time I accidentally locked myself out of my house. And then I think the third time I did it, like I had left the water on. I kept dripping. Um, so I don't know. No, I think he's just distracting because you know, uh, I mean, he definitely did stuff with underage women. There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind because he refuses to let this Epstein thing out. So he's completely compromised. So I have a theory: Greys are a hybrid of the last species they exterminated, and we may be the next project. Maybe. Okay, so Spiderbite writes, you need to be in presence. Being impatient doesn't make the time go quicker. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oops. Yeah, maybe. Spiderbite writes, you were being tested fully. So spiritual ascension's writing, you got too much outside noise interfering with the process. Trust the process. You're not going to miss anything by tapping out for an hour or so. I know. I keep doing it. So, but nothing like the weirdest thing that happened was when I asked for a sign and the raven flew right over my head, landed on a branch, and squawked at me. That was weird. So we'll see. Anyway, all right, I got to get back to it. Least to which I got to do that thing outside. So let's see. Woo Rider DC saying, I'm sure Peter Thiel's protege will be president before the term is up. Maybe. So spiritual ascension is writing, there are interferences because you're powerful. Ignore the distractions and rise, my friend. Do my best. Yep, TL Musk all connects. All right. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you for coming on this modest stream, my monthly stream. I appreciate you. God bless and Godspeed. Talk soon.
Breaking news.